Welcome back to Where You Live with Gene and Tony. And if you're joining us, we've got a couple of stories we want to talk about today. A little bit later in the show today, we're going to talk about a very bitter battle towards a family that put a playground set in their backyard. And we'll talk about that. But we want to talk next about an issue that is causing a big hubbub with one association. It says that the condo manager or management company dragged their feet in fixing a roof leak, and they may not be able to claim the statute of limitations has run out. And this is one of those classic situations, Tony, where what is in the title is not expressed
in the body of the story.
The body of the story.
Oh my gosh!
Whatsoever, and it's just amazing what passes by, because people will just sometimes read
the headlines.
Sure. And,
those dang managers, those dang property managers.
Isn't that true?
They're messing with people again.
Well, and again, folks, thanks for joining us. You're listening to Where You Live with Gene and Tony. We're broadcasting from the Concierge Landscape Studios and brought to you this hour by Extreme Exteriors as well. Let's go into this article here. It says this is coming from Massachusetts. It says the Massachusetts Appeals Court today reinstated a Chelsea condo owner's lawsuit against her association and management company over leaks she said were so bad she had mushrooms growing on the door frame around her home, and she eventually had to flee the unit on her doctor's advice. Mushrooms, we say.
Yeah, boy, we talk about mold issues. Now we've got fungus issues.
And it says a lower court judge had tossed this woman, Denise Doherty's lawsuit against the association and the management company out back a couple years earlier, ruling that her 2009 lawsuit came after the expiration of a 3-year state statute of limitations for being able to bring up such actions, because she first noticed the leak and these kind of issues back in 2004. So 2004 to 2009, a lot less. But it was reinstated by a higher court because they said, wait a minute, the issues with mold, that happened in 2006. So just under that 3-year statute.
So we're still within the 3 years.
Just within that 3-year statute, it should be a case that would be listened to then, and so now it's back on.
Okay.
I've got a lot of mixed feelings about this.
Yeah, I tell you, mold is a 4-letter word. I know that.
Oh, it sure is. And the thing that I guess impressed me here is I thought the ruling, and again, this is just my opinion here, but I thought the ruling of the lower court judge in tossing it out was fair. If there is a 3-year limit, statute of limitations on being able to bring up an action on a defect issue or a maintenance issue, and it's clearly spelled out, I think that's fair. There's a statute of limitation with insurance companies and being able to bring a claim.
Sure.
And so, I mean, if you have some concerns, why not bring that claim right away?
Sure. If
you have that issue and concern with the roof, why do you wait so long? Why not do it right away?
Sure. Why wait till fungus is growing from your doors if it's been leaking all that time?
Because you know what I think might be the case here, and I think this could be very reasonable, and that is she has a leak initially back in 2004.
Okay.
And if most people have a small leak, they don't think too much of it. They ask for it to be taken care of by the association. It does, and it's done with.
The association comes out, checks the roof,
does some small maintenance,
caulks, whatever.
Yep. And now all of a sudden the person doesn't see anything, even though it may be leaking a little bit more.
Okay.
Or
it's not noticeable?
Not noticeable.
Okay.
More time elapses.
Okay.
And now we get into instead of 2004, we could be getting a beginning year 2006, maybe a year and a half later. And now all of a sudden there's an issue. Could it be that this is the exact same issue that had not been taken care of from 2004? Possible. Could it be also a new issue somewhere else on the roof? Yes.
Right.
Then is that something where the association or management company didn't take care of it? Well, no. But
they
at
took
this
action.
point, so then someone else asked to take action, and then it doesn't get fixed. And we know that with some issues, sometimes it can take 2 or 3 or 4 times before you get to the bottom of it.
Especially if it involves water, because it's hard sometimes to trace the source or trace where the entry is on the roof.
Yeah. I mean, we will do that with cars. We seem to give a mechanic a little leeway if you can't find something the first time.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes a second, a third, or fourth time. But here I could see where something wasn't taken care of, now gets a little bit worse, and now the person just gets upset. And so now, darn it, now it's time to ratchet things up, and now there's issues. But is this a case of the management company or the association dragging their feet?
Well, that's what's interesting. The body of the story says nothing about management's actions at all, or even the association's actions.
You would think if there had been both a lower and a higher court ruling, something would have been said somewhere that there was a responsibility, but that wasn't taken into account, was it?
Yeah, no, it wasn't, or certainly not in this story. It wasn't.
Yeah, and so I just for me, I had some issues with that. The other side of the corner of the coin, I guess, is that having an issue that continues on is no laughing matter. And if there is mold, that has kind of ratcheted things up too.
Sure.
That's a big concern for a homeowner too.
Yep.
But I don't know that the homeowner needs to necessarily place that on the shoulders of the association.
You know, how many issues do we deal with in a day that there's no one necessarily at fault? There's no one to blame. It just is what it is. Things go wrong sometimes. Things wear out sometimes. Things that wear out may inconvenience you sometimes. But that's not the fault of the manager or the property owner or the homeowners association. Our responsibility is to react and take action to try and correct the situation. The situation. And just because your roof leaks doesn't mean you have to find someone to blame.
Oh, exactly. It seems like we've gotten into the society mindset now where there is a victimhood, and everyone needs to be a victim, which means that they're not at fault. There's someone else at fault. There's someone else to blame for their woes. And some things are, for crying out loud, it's just life. That's right.
That's all
it is.
I don't think I have ever said to an owner or a renter who called me with a leak, this leak must be your fault.
Yeah.
If you're going to start finding, I'm not laying fault necessarily on the homeowner or the renter because their roof leaks, unless I find out they were up there dancing on the roof. But you know what I'm saying? That's not my immediate reaction, knee-jerk reaction to problems with real estate.
And people need to realize when you own a home in a condominium, you still own the home. It's still your home. The only thing that you're paying for in your dues, because that's the next thing. People want to say, well, it's the association fault. That's followed up with, I pay a lot of money to my homeowner association, and I don't ever ask for anything in return. Yes, you do. You ask for insurance. You ask for the snow to be plowed. You ask for the grass to be cut. You ask for the landscaping to be trimmed. You ask for a lot of different
possibly
things.
Water and sewer service, trash and recycling service, and exterior maintenance on the home.
You do get a lot of things, but you're only paying for just some of the issues. And I want to emphasize that. Some of the items and issues that you deal with being a home owner. You're not paying a monthly amount that is going to cover everything that's going to take place.
That might go wrong.
It's only a certain few items.
That's right.
At the end of the day, you're still the owner of that home. you need to take care of those things, and it's going to come out of your pocket. Why? Because it's your home.
That's right.
Just as simple as that. Well, I tell you what, we've got to take another break. We come back. We've got one last segment here on Where You Live. We're going to talk about this really battle that got out of hand about a backyard playset. And that'll be here on Where You Live with Gene and Tony on AM 1280, The Patriot.